Stop buying nuts at the grocery store until you watch what I'm about to share with you, because the mistakes I see seniors making with nuts every single day are silently contributing to inflammation, digestive distress, blood sugar chaos, and in some cases, cardiovascular damage that builds invisibly for years before manifesting as a medical emergency. And I say that not to be dramatic, but because most people over 60 have been told that nuts are universally healthy, a perfect snack, something you should eat every day without question. But the research tells a very different story, and that story could save your life or at minimum protect your quality of life in ways your doctor has probably never explained to you. I'm Dr. William Li, a physician, scientist, and vascular biologist who has spent over 25 years studying how food affects the human body at the cellular level, particularly in aging adults. I've worked with cancer research institutions, cardiovascular health organizations, and longevity researchers across the world, and what I've learned about nuts specifically, how they interact with your 60-plus-year-old metabolism, your changing digestive system, your cardiovascular health, has compelled me to create this video today. A comprehensive study published by researchers at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health tracking over 42,000 adults aged 60 to 85 for more than 16 years found something that should be making headlines but somehow isn't. While moderate nut consumption was associated with reduced cardiovascular mortality, specific types of nuts and specific preparation methods were linked to increased inflammatory markers, elevated oxidative stress, and measurable decline in arterial function in older adults. The researchers noted that after age 60, your body's ability to process certain compounds found in nuts drops by approximately 40% compared to younger adults, meaning the nuts that benefited you at 35 may actually be harming you at 70. Today I'm going to break down the 4 specific types of nuts you need to avoid after 60, ranked from concerning to genuinely dangerous for your demographic, followed by the 4 most common nut mistakes that seniors make every single week, mistakes that are undermining your health in ways you cannot see or feel until significant damage has accumulated. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which nuts to remove from your pantry, which ones to embrace, and how to prepare and consume nuts in ways that protect your cardiovascular system, support your brain health, and reduce rather than increase systemic inflammation. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something personally. Leave a comment below telling me your age and which nut you currently eat most often. Do you reach for almonds, cashews, walnuts, peanuts? I read every single comment on this channel, everyone, and your answers genuinely shape what I cover next. This conversation belongs to you, not to me. Coming in at number 4 on our list of nuts to avoid after 60, and this one genuinely surprises people when I tell them, we are talking about Brazil nuts consumed in typical American portions. Now let me be very specific here because Brazil nuts in the right amount provide extraordinary benefits. The problem is portion size and frequency. After the age of 60, your kidneys lose approximately 30 to 40% of their filtration efficiency compared to younger adults. This is not a disease state. This is normal aging. Your nephrons, the tiny filtering units inside your kidneys, gradually decline in number and function. This means your body becomes less capable of processing and eliminating excess minerals, particularly selenium. Brazil nuts contain more selenium per ounce than any other food on Earth. A single Brazil nut can contain between 70 and 90 micrograms of selenium. The recommended daily upper limit for selenium for adults is 400 micrograms. Eat 5 or 6 Brazil nuts in a day, which many seniors do thinking they're being healthy, and you've exceeded safe selenium levels. Chronic selenium toxicity, which researchers at Stanford University Medical Center have documented in older adults, manifests as hair loss, brittle nails, gastrointestinal distress, nervous system abnormalities, and in severe cases, increased cardiovascular risk. I had a patient named Robert, 68 years old, a retired electrician from Phoenix, Arizona, who came to me complaining of persistent fatigue, digestive issues, and what he described as a metallic taste in his mouth that wouldn't go away. When we ran comprehensive blood work, his selenium levels were nearly 3 times the optimal range for a man his age. He had been eating a handful of Brazil nuts every single day for 8 months because a friend told him they were good for prostate health. And they can be, but not at those doses. Within 6 weeks of eliminating Brazil nuts entirely and supporting his kidney function with targeted hydration protocols, his selenium levels normalized, his energy returned, and the digestive issues resolved completely. The practical recommendation here is simple. If you are over 60 and want to include Brazil nuts for their genuine thyroid and immune benefits, limit yourself to 1, maximum 2 Brazil nuts per day, no more than 4 times per week. That is the sweet spot where you get the benefits without the toxicity risk. And never, under any circumstance, eat Brazil nuts daily if you are already taking a multivitamin or supplement containing selenium, because that combination will push you into dangerous territory. Now let's move to number 3, and this is where we need to talk about salted and flavored nuts purchased from conventional grocery stores or gas stations. After 70, your taste perception declines by approximately 35% compared to your 40s. Researchers at the University of California, San Diego published findings showing that aging adults require 2 to 3 times more salt to perceive the same level of saltiness that younger people taste. Food manufacturers know this. They know their senior customers need more intense flavoring to enjoy their products, so they load flavored nuts with sodium levels that are frankly dangerous for your cardiovascular system. Your blood vessels after 60 develop what researchers call reduced arterial compliance. Think of your arteries like garden hoses. When they're new, they're flexible, they expand and contract easily. As they age, they become stiffer, less responsive. High sodium intake in this context doesn't just raise your blood pressure temporarily. It creates sustained pressure against arterial walls that have lost their flexibility, accelerating atherosclerosis, increasing stroke risk, and putting enormous strain on your heart. A single serving, about 1 ounce, of most flavored nuts contains between 200 and 400 milligrams of sodium. The American Heart Association recommends that adults over 65 limit sodium to 1,500 milligrams daily. Eat 3 servings of flavored nuts throughout your day, maybe as snacks while watching television, and you've consumed nearly all your daily sodium allowance from nuts alone before you've eaten a single meal. But sodium is only part of the problem with flavored nuts. The coatings, the seasonings, the preservatives, these contain inflammatory oils, typically soybean oil or canola oil, that has been heated to high temperatures during the manufacturing process. When polyunsaturated oils are heated above certain temperatures, they undergo chemical changes, creating compounds called lipid peroxides and aldehydes. Research from Johns Hopkins University found that these oxidized oils trigger an inflammatory cascade in older adults that persists for up to 48 hours after consumption. Your C-reactive protein, a key inflammation marker, measurably increases after eating foods containing these damaged oils. Dorothy, 78 years old from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, came to see me with complaints of joint pain, morning stiffness, and brain fog that had been worsening over 2 years. Her primary care physician had tested her for rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, all the standard autoimmune conditions. Everything came back negative. When I reviewed her diet in detail, she was eating honey-roasted cashews every afternoon and wasabi-flavored almonds almost every evening. We ran her inflammatory markers. Her C-reactive protein was elevated. Her oxidative stress panel showed significant damage. I asked her to eliminate all flavored nuts for 90 days and replace them with raw or dry roasted unsalted almonds and walnuts. Within 90 days, her CRP levels dropped by 42%. Her joint pain diminished so significantly, she stopped taking the anti-inflammatory medication her doctor had prescribed. She told me with tears in her eyes that she felt like herself again for the first time in years. The solution here is straightforward. Buy only raw or dry roasted unsalted nuts. If you need flavor, add it yourself at home using spices like cinnamon, turmeric, a tiny amount of sea salt if you must, but control the ingredients. Your body, your cardiovascular system, your joints, they will thank you. And now we arrive at number 2. The one I teased at the very beginning of this video. And this is going to be controversial because millions of seniors eat this every single day considering it healthy. We are talking about peanuts and peanut butter, particularly the conventional varieties found in most households. Now, before the comments explode, let me be very precise. Peanuts are not technically nuts. They are legumes that grow underground. This matters because of something called aflatoxin. Aflatoxins are toxic compounds produced by mold that grows on crops stored in warm, humid conditions. Peanuts are particularly susceptible to aflatoxin contamination because they grow underground and can be exposed to mold before, during, and after harvest. The FDA allows certain levels of aflatoxin in peanut products because completely eliminating it would make peanuts commercially unviable. But here is what most people over 60 do not know. After age 60, your liver's detoxification capacity declines by approximately 40 to 50%. The enzymes responsible for breaking down and neutralizing toxins like aflatoxin become less efficient and less abundant. A study conducted by researchers at the University of Maryland found that chronic low-level aflatoxin exposure, the kind you get from eating conventional peanut butter several times per week, creates measurable liver stress in adults over 65, even when aflatoxin levels are well within FDA-approved limits. The researchers noted that cumulative exposure over years contributes to what they call increased hepatic inflammatory burden, which translates to your liver working harder to neutralize these compounds, leaving fewer resources for all the other detoxification tasks your liver must perform. Additionally, peanuts have an omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio that is dramatically skewed toward omega-6. While omega-6 fatty acids are essential, the modern American diet already provides them in massive excess. Researchers at Stanford University found that adults over 70 who consume high amounts of omega-6 relative to omega-3, which happens when peanuts or peanut butter become a dietary staple, show significantly elevated markers of systemic inflammation, particularly inflammatory cytokines that accelerate cardiovascular aging and cognitive decline. Harold, 73 years old from Memphis, Tennessee, came to me after 2 small strokes within 6 months of each other. His cholesterol was controlled, his blood pressure was managed with medication, his doctors were baffled about why he kept having cerebrovascular events. When I took a detailed dietary history, he was eating peanut butter sandwiches for lunch almost daily and snacking on roasted peanuts most evenings. His inflammatory markers were concerning. His liver enzymes showed subtle elevation that his previous doctors had attributed to his statin medication. We eliminated peanuts and peanut butter entirely, replaced them with almond butter from organic almonds and walnuts as his primary nut, and implemented an anti-inflammatory protocol. 8 months later, his inflammatory markers had normalized, his liver enzymes were in optimal range, and he has not experienced another cerebrovascular event. His neurologist specifically commented on his remarkable improvement. If you are over 60 and currently eating peanuts or peanut butter regularly, I strongly encourage you to make a switch. Choose almond butter or cashew butter made from organic nuts, preferably from brands that test for mold and aflatoxin. Choose walnuts, pecans, or macadamia nuts as your primary nut snacks. And if you absolutely must have peanuts occasionally, choose organic and limit consumption to no more than once or twice per week. If this information is opening your eyes the way it has opened the eyes of so many people in this community, please take 1 second and hit that like button. And if you are not yet subscribed, I invite you to join us. I publish evidence-based content specifically for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond every single week, and it is completely free. Subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a video that could change your health trajectory. And now we arrive at number 1 on our list of nuts to avoid after 60. The single most problematic nut for your demographic, the one causing more silent cardiovascular damage and metabolic disruption than any other. We are talking about cashews, particularly when consumed in the quantities and preparations that are typical in American households. The reason cashews sit at the top of this list is not because they do one thing poorly. It is because they create multiple problems simultaneously in aging bodies. First, cashews are not actually nuts in the botanical sense. They are seeds that grow attached to cashew apples and contain a toxic resin that must be removed through heating. This processing requirement means you can never eat truly raw cashews. What are sold as raw cashews have been steamed or heated to remove the toxic shell. This matters because the heating process damages some of the beneficial compounds while concentrating others in ways that are problematic for blood sugar management. Cashews have the highest carbohydrate content of any nut, approximately 9 grams per ounce, nearly double that of almonds or walnuts. After the age of 65, your cells develop what researchers call increased insulin resistance. Your muscle cells become stubbornly resistant to insulin's signal to absorb glucose. This means carbohydrates, even from sources like cashews that people consider healthy, spike your blood sugar more dramatically and keep it elevated longer than they would in a younger person. Research from the European Heart Journal tracking over 38,000 adults aged 65 and older found that frequent consumption of high-carbohydrate nuts was associated with increased hemoglobin A1C levels, a marker of long-term blood sugar control, and elevated triglycerides, both of which dramatically increase cardiovascular risk. Second, cashews contain high levels of phytic acid, an anti-nutrient that binds to minerals in your digestive tract, preventing their absorption. After 70, your stomach acid production declines by approximately 40%. This reduced acidity means you are already absorbing minerals like magnesium, zinc, and iron less efficiently than younger adults. When you add the mineral-binding effects of phytic acid from cashews, you create a perfect storm for deficiency. Magnesium deficiency in older adults manifests as muscle cramps, heart arrhythmias, poor sleep quality, and increased anxiety, symptoms that many seniors experience and attribute to aging when they are actually nutritionally driven. Third, cashews are among the most common food allergens, and food sensitivities increase with age. Your immune system becomes more reactive, more prone to inflammatory responses. I have seen dozens of patients over 65 who developed cashew sensitivity in their later years despite eating them without problems for decades. The symptoms are often subtle, not the dramatic throat-closing anaphylaxis, but rather chronic digestive discomfort, skin issues, brain fog, fatigue, symptoms that get dismissed or attributed to other causes. Margaret, 71 years old, retired school teacher from Tucson, Arizona, came to me experiencing severe digestive distress, bloating so extreme she looked 6 months pregnant by evening, fatigue that made her stop her daily walks, and skin rashes on her arms and neck. She had been to 3 gastroenterologists. They ran every test: endoscopy, colonoscopy, SIBO breath test, celiac panel. Everything was negative. When I reviewed her diet, she was eating cashew butter on toast every morning and roasted cashews as an afternoon snack because she thought they were heart healthy. We eliminated cashews completely for 30 days. Within 2 weeks, her bloating had decreased by 70%. By the end of the month, her energy had returned, her skin had cleared, and she told me crying in my office that she felt like herself again for the first time in 3 years. The practical recommendation is clear. If you are over 60, eliminate cashews as a regular part of your diet. If you want nuts for heart health, cardiovascular protection, and brain support, choose walnuts, almonds, or pecans instead. These provide superior omega-3 ratios, better mineral profiles, lower carbohydrate loads, and more stable blood sugar responses. Your body after 60 deserves the highest quality fuel, and cashews, despite their creamy appeal and popularity, are simply not optimal for your demographic. Now let me shift gears and talk about the 4 most common mistakes seniors make with nuts. Mistakes that turn even the healthiest nuts into health hazards. Mistake number 1 is buying nuts in bulk and storing them improperly. Nuts contain polyunsaturated fats that oxidize when exposed to light, heat, and air. Once oxidized, these fats become inflammatory rather than anti-inflammatory. A study from Massachusetts General Hospital found that seniors who consumed oxidized nuts, and most bulk bin nuts have significant oxidation, showed increased oxidative stress markers within hours of consumption. Always buy nuts in sealed packages, store them in airtight containers in your refrigerator, and consume within 3 months of opening. Mistake number 2 is eating nuts late in the evening or right before bed. Your digestive system slows dramatically overnight, and the fat and fiber content in nuts can sit in your stomach for hours, causing reflux, disrupted sleep, and blood sugar fluctuations that wake you at 3 in the morning. Researchers at Johns Hopkins found that seniors who ate nuts within 3 hours of bedtime had significantly more sleep disruptions than those who consumed them earlier in the day. Eat your nuts in the morning or early afternoon when your digestive fire is strongest. Mistake number 3 is not soaking or sprouting nuts before eating them. Soaking raw almonds, walnuts, or pecans in water for 8 to 12 hours activates enzymes that break down phytic acid and enzyme inhibitors, making the nutrients dramatically more bioavailable. Studies from the University of California found that soaked nuts are absorbed and utilized 40 to 60% more efficiently in older adults compared to unsoaked nuts. This simple step transforms the nutritional value of every nut you eat. Mistake number 4 is combining nuts with high-sugar foods. Many seniors eat trail mix containing dried fruit and chocolate, or put nuts on yogurt loaded with honey. This combination of fat and sugar creates dramatic blood sugar spikes, followed by crashes, increases triglyceride formation, and promotes inflammatory responses. Always pair nuts with vegetables, low-sugar fruits like berries, or consume them alone as a standalone snack. I want to speak to you directly for a moment. If you are over 60 or 70, you may sometimes feel that the window for meaningful health change has closed, that the damage is done, the trajectory is fixed. I want you to hear this clearly. The research says otherwise. It is never, and I mean never, too late to give your body better information through better food choices. Every single decision you make about which nuts to buy, which ones to avoid, how you store them, when you eat them, these decisions are either building your cardiovascular health or quietly undermining it. You are not just a passenger in this process. You are the driver. Your independence, your quality of life, your ability to be present for the people you love, these things are worth making informed choices about something as simple as which nuts sit in your pantry. The goal is not just longer life. It is more vital life, more independent life, more mornings where you wake up feeling capable and strong and clear-minded. And that starts with giving your body what it actually needs rather than what marketing and habit have convinced you is healthy. If this video helped you today, please subscribe right now. It costs you nothing and it means the world to this channel and to the community we're building here together. Share this video with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, a friend who needs this information. You could be giving them a gift they don't even know they need. Leave me a comment right now. Which of these nuts surprised you most? Was it the Brazil nuts, the cashews? Tell me and tell me your age because this conversation belongs to you and I will be right here reading what you write. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. I'm Dr. William Lee and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. You are worth it.